Welcome back, Warriors. Welcome back to another episode here on the Warriors Vision podcast. Before we get into it, make sure you are sharing the podcast. Make sure you're sharing the video. If you're watching this on the YouTube channel, make sure you're sharing. Make sure you turn on the notifications. Like, share, and comment on the YouTube channel. Also, if you have not already, go to our Facebook page. Facebook.com/Warriors Collection Network, and also Warriors Collection Brand. Find those pages, hit the like button. We're trying to get our numbers up on all those other platforms, especially here. We're trying to hit 500 before the year is out. We're at 220, I believe. So if we can get to 500, that'd be fantastic. And we're trying to increase all our numbers across the board. Again, like I said, I'm not super focused on it, but I got to put the information out there and just in case you want to be a part of the community. So before we, let's just go ahead and jump into the show. Welcome back, Warriors. Welcome back to another episode on the Warriors Vision podcast, proudly presented by the Warriors Collection Network. I'm the host, Brian Sells, aka The Warrior. As you see here, we have a new episode, and this is episode number 5. Episode number 5. I was about to say 4 because the title threw me off, but we're on episode number 5. And actually, after this one, we're gonna do our total. I'm gonna just drop the season and all that. I'm gonna just go with I was on the episode. Let me slow down. I was on a podcast, Jay's hard parking podcast, and he threw out a great tip, and I think I'm gonna go with, I am gonna go with it, and I'm gonna drop the episode count, and I'm going to upload the accurate episode count that we're on, and I believe we're at, I want to say 107 or 110, somewhere around there. We've done 110 episodes, which is fantastic. Not really, haven't really been on as much, but I mean that's something to be proud of, right? I believe that says a lot. I believe, I pound myself for not being very persistent in doing the podcast because of so many things that I felt like didn't go my way, or the numbers didn't pan out to be where I wanted them to be. But I mean, 100 and some odd episodes for this podcast, I feel like is a great thing. Right now I'm trying to search out how many episodes we actually have. I mean, it's not important right now, but it's on my mind, I must know. I must know. There it is. I love typing in my podcast and finding it so easily. I don't have to go to another page or anything. This is not telling me either. This is not telling me either. Let's see. Hold on. Let's see. I'm pretty sure we're at I think we're about 110 or somewhere around there, but which is great. 100 plus episodes. That is a fantastic thing to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and clap it up. That was me clapping. Matter of fact, hold on. We've done some things on this show. I know I got a sound for that. I know I got a sound for that. There it is. There it is. Absolutely. We've done some things. So we're actually at 107 episodes with this podcast. So, that's a great thing. So you cannot be mad or sad at the small beginnings. Everyone has to start somewhere, and that's a great start. And all we have to do now is just be consistent, be committed, and be persistent in what we are doing, and leave everything else alone. So We have 107 episodes. After this one drops, we'll be at 108. So the next one that we drop we'll have that number at 109. 109. So as you see here today, we're on episode number 5, and we're doing a part 2 on chain breaker or chain maker. The last episode it was a good episode. It was a great one. But after I got done, and the following day, I felt like I was like, oh, I didn't give them enough. I wasn't um, I wasn't very transparent. I held back on some stuff, and I don't know if because if it was shame or I don't think it was shame. I just stayed away from it. I didn't dive too deep. And today we're gonna get into it. We're gonna pull off another layer and be transparent with you guys because again, this podcast is to help. It's here to help someone who may have been struggling or who may be struggling with the things that I've encountered with, right? That I've encountered, and um, it's to let them know that hey, I'm not the only one that struggled with this. It's to let them know that hey, I made it through it. You can also make it through it, and that's the whole point of the show. So if I'm not transparent, and I'm not saying I gotta be down to the nitty gritty details. I don't have to do all that, but I can show you the different things and um, give you something so you can be like, all right, you know what? I struggled a little bit with that, and okay, I'll be able to come through this. I can be better. You're better. I know I can be better. So without any delay, let's go ahead and jump into this. The chains that I created for myself that I was about to, hopefully I've broken to the sense of, I broke them where they cannot latch on to my kids. Um, I know a lot of things that I did in my younger years. Uh, they probably, I know they probably affected them somewhat, but I hope and I pray that those chains are not attached, have not attached themselves to my children because I'm not with them, so I can't coach them on how to avoid getting chained down by that thing. I can't coach them on how to avoid that thing, how to take that thing off. I can't coach them. Now you may be saying, well, what do you mean I don't have them? My daughter is 20. um I have two, three other sons that are not with me. I have my current son that lives with me, and I have my daughter. So if you know me, you know that my parenting started at a young age. I started at a young age, so a lot of things that I experienced was when I was younger and immature. I put people through some things because of my, not being mature and just being foolish, not listening to my parents, just doing all kinds of crazy things, and those things help create those chains that had me bound for a long time, for a lot of years, that I had to learn how to finally break free from them things. And I didn't do it on my own. The help of God, the guidance, the praying, and really being disciplined in those matters, right? So the chains that I had to break was, as I told you guys before, pride. Pride. I had to break that one. I had to start really looking at myself as I am the reason why these things are happening. For a long time, I was always putting it on someone else. I was always blaming someone else. Um, I was always, if they pointed the finger back at me, I was like this. It was you. You're the reason why this is happening. Blah blah blah. It was always that, and I had to start saying, no, it was me. It's my fault. I had to start, apologizing. I never apologized. It didn't matter how bad I hurt you. I never apologized. And then if I did, it was like a half-hearted apology, only just to get you to shut up. That's what it was. It was a half-hearted apology just to get you to shut up, get out of my face, so that I can, not have to talk about it anymore. And that's what that was. So I had to, you know, had to correct that by being accountable for my own actions. I had to correct that by taking responsibility for my own behavior, not really being concerned about what everyone else is doing to me, but how am I reacting? How am I responding? How am I, engaging in this conversation? Am I taking it too far? It was me. It was me. I was the problem. So I had to fix the pride thing. I fixed the pride thing. The next thing was anger, rage, or revenge. Anger and revenge. And I say those two probably go hand in hand with each other because anytime I got angry, right, or anytime someone did something, it set me off so fast. There was never a time of being peaceful or calm or any of those things that would if any of those things that those things did not exist. I was always boom. You said something, oh, I was snapping. If you did something I didn't like or agree with, I was going off, and it was just. And then if it didn't go my way, I was like, all right, so it didn't go my way. I'm looking for revenge. I'm looking for a way to get back at you, or to let's say if you were saying that I was cheating or excuse me doing certain things, I would be like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and make this happen then. Since you thinking I'm doing this anyway, I might as well just do it. That type of nonsense. I had to really check myself. Like, why was I doing that? Like, what kind of person does that? This guy. Like, why was I doing that? Those chains right there. Anger had me blinded or blind to my own flaws. I couldn't even hear the truth. I was just so angry every time. And that the pride, just it was just a mess, a ball of a messy ball. A messy ball. And then the other chain that I had to break was a chain of lust, right? So it was very lustful. And this played off the revenge thing. Was like anytime, like I said, anytime I was accused of something and it wasn't true, and that I probably did something before, and the accusations would have been true before, but in that moment when I was being accused, no, I didn't do anything, but since you're accusing me, now uh, I have to do it. Like it, and I'm sure you're listening to this, like, what? What? How does that make sense? I'm telling you, it didn't make any sense. That's being bound by chains of foolishness will have you doing things that don't make any sense. And that's why it's so important to self inventory, to check yourself. What things am I passing down to my kids? Because they're watching. They're watching. What kind of example are you setting for your kids, for your nieces, nephews? What kind of example are you setting for them? As I said, I have my children, my three sons and my daughter. Actually, I have four sons and two daughters now, and it's just like, am I showing them how to be a man? Am I showing them how to be a loving father, a loving husband? Was I showing them these things? And the answer overwhelmingly is no, I was not. I was showing them how to be a man that was chasing chasing multiple women, a man who could not control his emotions, a man who could not be told that when he was wrong that he was wrong, a man that was very prideful, stuck in his ways, stubborn. Like, that's what I was showing them. And what you think? So what did I think was going to happen? And I'm praying that it doesn't happen. But if they go down that same path, they got that stuff for me, because I showed them that's how they should be. But I'm hoping and I'm praying, as I keep saying this over and over again, that the example that I am now, that they will see that. That they will see that example and be like, all right, that's my dad. That's he's showing me, okay. What he was showing me before, he wasn't in his right mind, because I wasn't. the things that I was doing was totally foolish, and I was so blind to the things I was doing. It took God to really show me the things that I was doing. You know, my mom and dad would be constantly talking to me, and I was so in my ways. And that's a lesson for a lot of you um, young women out there that are trying to date or whatever the case may be. Understand, you cannot change a man. You can't change his mind, his heart. You don't have that type of power. Same thing goes for men. You can't change how a woman thinks or feels or anything like that. It takes God to deal with their hearts and their minds. God dealt with my heart and my mind, and I realized the way that I was going was just dangerous. Dangerous. So I had to break all that stuff. And it was a struggle. I would say the hardest one was the lust. That was the that was a struggle, because you have your iPhone, or you have your phones, and you have your social media. You have all these things that, if you're constantly looking at them over and over again, that stuff plays into your mind. That stuff gets stuck into your head. Those are little seeds that's dropping, and they might not affect you at that moment, but in your time when you're by yourself or whatever the case may be, that seed might sprout, and now you're like, oh, whoa. So I had to cut out, spending so much time on Instagram. I had to cut out, um, let me see, just a lot of being on social media altogether. Looking at pictures or any of that stuff. I had to cut all that stuff out to break that. And now I'm good. I'm good with that. One day we'll have a even more deeper dive into that whole that lust thing, because I would say it plagued me for a lot of years. It really, it had a hold on me for a lot of years. And I'm not gonna say I'm tungsten, which is a metal, right? I'm not gonna say I'm diamond tough now, but I can definitely say that I'm more resistant to that now. I It doesn't bother me as much. It doesn't bother me as much. But I know my limits. I'm not about to sit here and act like, yeah, I can go in a room full of all kinds of nonsense and be fine. Nope, I'm I'm only man. I know my limitations. I know what I can handle and what I cannot handle. In the Bible, God tells us to flee. It does not tell us to go and try to test ourselves against our temptations. It does not tell us to do that. So I know myself. I've learned who I am, and I've developed a way to make sure that I don't fall into those traps anymore. Anger. I don't do the anger thing no more. I listen. Anger, I feel like when I was doing the angry thing, I was just quickly responding. I already had a response. In the middle of someone was talking to me, I was already responding. I was just waiting for them to get done so I can blah. Now I listen, and I'm holding my peace. I'm holding my tongue. I'm not saying anything. I'm listening. Like, oh, okay. And every now and then it'll rile up, but God always checks me. You need to go apologize. And immediately I had to go apologize for whatever thing I may have said, or even my tone in the way that I said it, or how I said it. That's how you keep those chains from trying to wrap you up again. By being aware of what you are doing. Because you are the example. And if you lose what you are doing, you're not paying attention to what you're doing, those things are going to latch on to whoever's around you. It's almost like that character in Spider-Man, was it Doctor Octo? I forgot his name, but he got he got the arms, the 8 arms. I forgot. I haven't seen any of that stuff in so long, but you know, let's imagine those as chains, and they're just reaching out. And if you're acting crazy, if you have all these issues, and you're partaking in this foolishness, it's going to reach out and touch all the ones that is close to you, your sons, your daughters, your spouses. It's going to touch them. And if you're older and you have grandkids, that stuff going to reach out and touch them. Bam, 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 bam. Because you never took the time to analyze your own self and say, I am struggling with this and I need to get this fixed. I don't want this to be passed down. I caught this from my dad. I got this from my mom. I got this from my uncle. This happened to me and now I'm passing this. I'm telling you, you don't want that. You don't want to pass that stuff down. They're already going to have to face their own battles. Don't load up their plate with your battles as well. They're already going to have to face their own battles when they become adults, young adults. Don't give them yours as well. So I made sure that I took care of my chains. I made sure that I took care of my chains. And while I took care of my chains, I also explained it to my son. My daughter's too young to get it right now, but I'm sure as she gets older, you best believe I'm going to explain it to her. But I had to explain it to my son so that he knows how to break those chains if they come up on him. So he knows how to identify what's happening. If he gets in a rut where he's like, man, I don't know why I'm acting like this. Oh, conversation that I had with my dad about this. This is this. Now he has the tools. I have given him the tools to break up that chain. He can't say I don't have the tools. I've given him the tools. He can't say I can't identify what this is. No. I've shown him what it is. Now he has the power to identify and break it before it goes any further. So again, warriors, are you a chain breaker or a chain maker? I'm hoping and praying after this episode, part 2 right here, that you're able to stand and say that I want to be a chain breaker. I want to break everything from the past that has affected me. I want it to end right here. I don't want it to go no further. I don't want it to touch anything. My children, my wife, their children. I don't want it to touch no one else. This is it. I am stopping it. And I'm going to explain it to my children how they can stop it. If it ever comes up on them. If they ever get attacked by anything, they'll be able to identify and be like, I gotta stop this right now. Each generation is supposed to get better, not worse. And that's how you make sure a generation gets better. Making sure they're taking care of things inside their homes so that their families can thrive instead of being a home of war, of chaos. You don't want that. You don't want to see your grandkids struggling. You don't want to see your children struggling with things that you dealt with, that you had an opportunity to deal with, but you chose not to deal with it. Things that you could have had a discussion about, but you chose not to because it was too uncomfortable. That has to stop. The conversations need to be had. Action needs to be taken. We got to save our families. Warriors, we have to save our families. It is on you. It is on you. So I hope this part 2 was informative, thought-provoking, inspirational, motivational, whatever. I hope it helps you. It gives you the courage to stand up and say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. No more will I self-sabotage my family because I don't want to take care of these things. No, enough is enough. I am going to take care of these things. No more. So let's jump into the contacts. This is the Warriors Collection Network proudly brings to you the Warriors Vision podcast. As we said earlier, make sure you're following us on the IGs at Warriors _ collection _ the other one at Warriors _ collection _ network. That's 2 IG accounts, y'all. Follow us here on YouTube. If you're watching this video on YouTube, you should definitely hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Turn on that notification. Ding dong. Leave a comment. Hit the like button and share it. You should do all those things in that order, okay? Do all those things in that order. Follow us on Twitter. See through it 1. Follow us on TikTok. Warriors Collection Brand. Also, guys, I promise I am going to get this information up. Matter of fact, I'm not even gonna mention it until I get the information up. So now I need to get the information up so I can mention it. So audio side of things, you can follow us on the Apple, follow us on the Spotify, the iHeart, and the Amazon. If you're looking to listen to the podcast side of it, just audio, we're on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, and Amazon. We're on all the other platforms as well. The only one we're not on is Pandora. I'm not even sure if Pandora is still up, but we're not on Pandora. But we're on Apple and Spotify and Amazon and iHeart. That's more than enough for you to find us and listen to us, okay? So with that being said, Warriors, I hope this gives you the courage. I hope this motivates you to bust up those chains, and I hope you're disciplined enough to I hope you're really sick and tired of those chains disrupting your home, that you're ready to take that hammer to that chain, that sledgehammer, whatever it is, bust those chains up and save your family. I pray and hope that is what you're ready to do now after this part 2. Because I gave you the chains that I struggled with. Like I said, lust, pride, anger, and revenge. And they were hard. The lust thing was extremely hard. As I said, one day we'll be able to we'll go deeper into that. Because that's a whole nother thing, and that's a chain that I created on my own, from just disobedience and following the trends of school, being influenced by other kids or whatever the case may be. That chain and that's the one and I'm telling you, that's one that we're gonna have a conversation about that one, because that one destroys a lot of things. That one causes a lot of chaos and madness. That one disrupts my mental space a lot. And that one I feel like is one that needs to be talked about, because a lot of our young people out there are making these connections with multiple different people and don't understand the ramifications of their behavior. They don't understand. They don't understand that when they 33 or 34, they will be sitting somewhere eating dinner with their spouse or whatever the case may be, and have a thought of someone back in high school. And you got to shake that off. Like, there's so much, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it here on the Warriors Vision podcast, because it needs to be talked about. All right. With that being said, guys, level up, train harder, be an asset, pray more, read often, be the light. This is the Warrior on the Warriors Vision podcast. Have a great night. Warrior out.